Hello.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Sham, we can start.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, all. Welcome to IDA Airnat branch. Today, our topic is how to do your first implant by tomorrow. Let me share few words about our speaker. Dr. Shaukat Ali is a specialist implantologist who has 20 years of experience in dentistry and 15 years of experience in implantology. He has done various advanced programs under Temple University, USA and Toronto University, Canada. He has done masters from Austria too. He is one of few specialist dental implantologists who has dental implantology privilege license in both Dubai Health Authority as well as Ministry of Health, Sharjah. We are lucky to have an implantologist who speaks the language of both worlds, that is short implant as well as conventional implants. He is also an international speaker conducting CME programs in Austria, Germany and UAE and a mentor trainer too. Over to Dr. Shaukat Ali to take over the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sham, for your lovely presentation, lovely introduction. How to do your first implant tomorrow. That is our topic of discussion today. Am I clear, Dr. Sham?
Yes, you're clear. So, okay.
In our day-to-day life, we used to meet two kind of people. One is very proactive one, and the present world is so beautiful because of this positive energy spreading category. When we give a topic, how to do your first implant tomorrow, they'll be asking, why not today? And there is another category. These are called analyzing and paralyzing category. They are always waiting for the tide to settle to start their sail. They have enough knowledge, but always waiting for the whole signals to be green to start from their home to their office. I'm starting our today's topic with a small story. These are the two wall clocks. This is a new gen entry into the room. Once the battery is inserted and it's activated, it started giving tick, tick, tick sound. So the small clock started counting how many ticks. Every second, one tick. So 60 seconds, 1 minute. It was making tick of 60 times. Then out of curiosity, it started calculating. In 1 hour, 3,600 ticks. Then out of surprise, it continued. One day, 86,400 ticks. Then didn't stop there. It continued again to the next 1 year. How much? It was 31,536,000 ticks. Then it collapsed and fainted. So this old clock on the wall just woke him up and said, "Oh, my son, it is not about 31 plus million ticks. It's all about one tick, that small tick at a time." So when we talk about implantology, So many things are there in our mind. Zygomatic implant, sinus lift, bone augmentation, infraalveolar nerve repositioning. No, that's a 1 year's tick calculation. We are starting small. We are starting with the small implant inserting into that extraction socket in a small time. World is very small. In 2000, 2002, that time when I was practicing in Calicut, this gentleman has visited in my practice. There was missing anterior, missing posterior. So what I did, I fixed a bridge on the upper, right, left, and the center. So given all the advices which we used to give to visit every year a dentist or visit ourselves, he was coming all the way from Dubai. So I told him, in case if it is not possible, go and visit your neighboring dentist, but it should be regular. Then I forgot about him and he forgot about me. After 2004, I shifted to Dubai. After 11 years of this procedure, one day when I reached into my practice, I was surprised to see this gentleman sitting there. He didn't have my number and he came without appointment. It was a very big surprise. Surprise was not about this fractured bridge. It was about the staying bridge, which is 11 years without any attending by any clinicians, without giving any prophylaxis. I was wondering how come this is staying there, then how come it has come out. So the bridge has come out. Now we are discussing the science. Can I make another bridge after doing root canal treatment on this tooth? If I didn't fix a bridge in the first place, this root, which was totally without any restoration, could have been ended up like this. And there is another caries distal part of this tooth. This caries would have been there if I didn't cut this tooth to fix this bridge. This was the kind of bridge we used to do that time. After shifting to Dubai, these bridges are less and these facings are almost not there. When we are giving it, it's a full ceramic, or if it is metal ceramic, the ceramic will be covered in full. Now, I have done endodontic treatment on this tooth and a restoration on this one. But these teeth are not ready to receive a force of a new crown and bridge. So started placing a dental implant in this area. This is after the pilot drill. I'm using a small expansion tool just to expand this osteotomy. Then it was twisting clockwise and anti-clockwise. That proceeded to the next size, then came implant into the place. This tooth, I have done root canal treatment, took more time than doing this entire implantology, implant, restoration, and everything. Now, this is in ideal position. After a healing period, the gum opened. It is a two-stage surgery, and this healing cap was in place Once the healing cap is removed, it was ready for impression. So impression post is fixed. You can see beautifully formed gum. When the soft tissue is perfectly formed, that gives us pink aesthetics. And the crown coming above will be our white aesthetics. What we are talking now is about the implant, about the abutment, and fixing of a crown above that. This is the abutment. Fixed this abutment into the implant with the screw, and this crown will be coming above that this way. So that's it. The restoration on the model, a separate crown is given to the molar because its endodontic treatment is done, and a separate individual crown is given to the implant, and function is restored. When I was talking about importance of changing this crown and bridge in every 6 years, he was waiting this to fail to go for another implant. Most of the time, patients, they will be missing our instructions. They will fail to follow our instructions. So when we start selecting a treatment plan, we have to give them the best treatment plan, expecting they may miss their cooperation in regular follow-up visits. So this is 2014, and 6-year follow-up is there. Perfectly, everything is in place, and no issues with the root canal treated one, no issues with the restored one, and everything is perfect, thank God, and in place. We cannot travel back to the time to correct our past. If I could have done it, I wouldn't have placed that crown and bridge in place. Instead, in the first place itself, I would have gone for the implant. Now, what literature say about this? Mean lifespan of a crown and bridge is 9.6 to 10.3 years. So this is exactly matching in the scenario I have shown you before. Patient has reached exactly on 11th year. It's a study by Walton Jr. Gardner. What our godfather of implant dentistry says, Dr. Professor Carl Misch. At the 10th year, our fixed partial denture will be failing 50%. And the reason of failure is dental caries. And 15% of the FPD abutment required endodontic treatment. You can see all these things happened in that case I have shown you just now. And 80% of the teeth adjacent to the missing teeth have no or minimal restoration when I started that case. That means my preparation of that tooth spoiled that tooth and ended up in root canal treatment later stage. So if it was not touched by our cutting burr, that tooth should not have any issues in future. So what is the learning outcome? Fixed or fixed crown and bridge or fixed dental implant. Once we learn the science, once if this fact is there inside us, this is the time to move towards that. I'll give you a small story about me. In 2005, there were only very less implantologist. Implantology was privilege of selected few in this area as well as the rest of the world. Only the surgeons used to do implants and or very senior doctors who has got a lot of experience. So I was not ready to start my implantology. That time, one gentleman from USA, he was successful in convincing me about his 2-minute implantology. Place the implant in 2 minutes. That was to an extraction socket. So I started realizing if he can do in 2 minutes, maybe if I try, I will be able to do it in 2 hours. There I started my journey, and I love to spread the word of knowledge to my colleagues. Here we are on our second case. Again, it is time to remove. You can see this second molar is this way angulated, and the rest of the teeth are in this way. That may be one of the reason of this root canal failure. You can see the root canal is done perfectly beautifully, and the crown was not placed and it has broken. It is not done by me, it is done by someone else from long time ago. After this situation, patient has referred to me for implant placement. So if we are going to place a crown and bridge after extracting this, these tooth need extensive preparation to get a proper alignment, or it will not be perfect, especially the occlusion and the aesthetic part. So that tooth is removed and extraction is done, and immediate implant is placed into the socket. It is how simple. You will be able to see it just in few coming slides. The extraction socket, you can see all the walls are intact with minimum trauma to the surrounding soft and hard tissues. This we don't have to get any training because every day we are doing this. Once it is done, my drill was going all the way down to that mesial portion of the tooth. Usually we follow this angulation, but this case, this was ideal. You may think little leaning. Do we have a problem with that? We always try to give it in the direction of the root. Still, sometimes it will be leaning. We are mainly concerned about the outside portion, how the crown is going to be from that implant, not the inside portion. That's the reason you can see a lot of all on 4 cases. These all on 4 cases are with a lot of angulation. Angulations are not a big issue in implant dentistry. This Leaning Tower of Pisa, this Pisa tower was at the year of 1173. When they started building it, when it reached at the 3rd floor, it's slanted. Then it's in that position. That is why we are going there to see that Leaning Tower of Pisa. And how long it will be there in place? Maybe you can guess. Another 200 years more, it will be in that position without any issues. Maybe the geographical changes can make it back to the normal position also. There are two theories about that. So it's not going to be an issue. Instead, it is an attraction for the tourist. So sometimes when we lean our implant, that will be giving some advantages. This is all about this one-day implantology. Why I have told you, you can do it from tomorrow if you are new to the implantology. This is not because you have to learn entire implantology over 24 hours. No, it's about if the tools are not there in your clinic, if the implant is not there in your clinic, this one day I'm giving you to order and sterilize your equipments. If everything is ready, you don't have to wait till tomorrow. This is the extraction socket. This is the way I'm just placing it into the socket. I have to get good primary stability. In this case, I was getting more than 50. 50 is enough. If no primary stability also, we don't have a problem. That's a second school of thought. I'm not mixing that one. Let us stick on to this theory. It is stable inside so that I can make the entire procedure into single stage surgery. So the implant is inside, beautifully placed in right place. And this is the healing cap. Same time it is inserted because implant was holding it very firmly inside the extraction socket. So I don't have to bury everything and wait till complete healing and open the area again. So implant is in place and you can see the gap, we call it jumping gap, that was filled with some bone graft materials. Later stage, patient has come. This is the impression stage. I have removed that healing cap, which is just kept inside, removed it from superficial portion. I didn't have to give even topical anesthesia for that because the gum was completely healed. It was perfectly in place. So it is just removed. Patient didn't feel anything and the abutment was in place. Then impression is done, crown is made and it's fixed. Now you can see the story inside, how beautifully the bone has formed all around the implant. How will be the clinical portion? The crown is beautifully in place, the soft tissue is perfect, and it is done. Now patient, they have to get some instruction from us about the implant care. Anyway, they will be coming for cleaning regularly and proper maintenance. Because once implant is done, throughout the procedure, we are educating the patient and they are paying something to get an artificial organ into their body. So this time they will be a little more motivated and most of our implant patients are regularly coming for proper follow-up visits. We have to get some directions. If we have that small compass in our hand, we don't have to wait till tomorrow. We can start it today, now itself. When I'm talking about implantology, in this room itself, I'm getting messages. Some senior doctors are there, some senior implantologists are there. So they will be excusing me for giving basic lessons because so many are new. Actually, they are very helpful. They are trying to help, raising their hands to show this one. But anyway. So they will not be having a problem. They are actually encouraging and it's very happy to see all of them here. We are coming to the case number 3. This is the area we are little concerned. This patient got one crown and bridge on left side, another on right side. Both done long back from India, and the dentist who has fixed done a beautiful job without much destruction on that tooth. He has given the crown and bridge. But patient unfortunately was not happy from that day 1 onwards because of the appearance. And she was complaining, I don't want that old, unhappy looking crown and bridge in my mouth anymore. So I have come for the implant. This was the place the crown and bridge got removed, and this place it is still intact. So you can see the OPG. When we see the X-ray, sometimes there are surprises inside. You can see a very big lesion on right side lower, but patient is not worrying about this. She don't have any issues with this one. She was more concerned about the appearance, about this missing portion. So we have proceeded to the implant. Most of the time, when the crown and bridge is failing, it is not just a failure of crown and bridge. It will fail with some issues on the nearby neighboring tooth. So here you can see, after the first drill, I was checking the direction. Then keeping it in mouth, we took the X-ray. I always advise everyone, and that is my practice also, to tie one floss, dental floss, whenever we check this one. This was just kept inside, and my hand is removed only to take this photograph. And within the next fraction of seconds, we proceed to the other one. So even though that small time, there is a chance we expect this to fall into patient's mouth and gagging. It may go inside. So always we have to secure this one with a long floss tied onto this one. Anytime we are taking the X-ray or anytime when we are taking the photographs. Usually all dental implant procedures are having these two documents, radiographs as well as photographs. Why? Radiographs will give us exactly the inside story, and when we analyze our photographs, it will show us the surgery live in front of us. Everything will come back to our mind. It is something more than recording it by writing or typing somewhere. So these photographs are very important. In future, if the patient is coming with some issues, when we refer to their photographs, we know what all things happened during the surgery. This is wrongly typed. It is 3D 2B rule. That means whenever we place this hole, osteotomy preparation for the implant, it should be 2 millimeter from the buccal. Buccal margin, we have to be away 1.8 millimeter. That 0.2 millimeter we cannot measure with our eyes. So safely 2 millimeter away from buccal margin, 1.5 millimeter away from this tooth, 1.5 millimeter from away from this one, and 1.5 millimeter from palatal margin. Then this 3D rule means it should be 3 millimeter deep inside. Just to remember, we call it 2B, 2 millimeter away from buccal, and 3D, 3 millimeter deeper. That is the rule. So you can see I'm holding the implant in my hand and just insert it inside. This tissue, we have to reflect it. It's not a very big deal. Just make an incision on the crust at the top of the crust, and with our periosteal elevator, reflect it both sides. Then our bone is ready there for us to drill. We all are very familiar by drilling most difficult part, that's a tooth. When we make class 1, class 2 cavities with a air rotor with high speed, we are getting that precise, accurate, small cut. So with an air rotor, with more control on a bone, it's not at all a difficult issue. In case if you have to get little training, buy 1 kilogram beef, take the bone and drill it and see how you feel when we are drilling. What is the difference between when we are drilling on the tooth and on the bone? It's that simple, not a big rocket science. So coming to the procedure, the implant is in place and suture is done, and that suture was coming out by 1 week. When the patient visited, I have given a temporary crown and bridge. So everything was inside. I had to give a crown, metal-free ceramic one, on this and this just because it was cut and prepared to make the crown and bridge in the first place. Otherwise, I didn't have to touch these two. Anyway, this is placed, then this is the implant. All the bone is beautifully there, and proceeded into the impression. The post is fixed, impression is done. After that, this is how it is when the abutment is cut and trimmed and came back from the lab. It is fixed inside, and here goes our beautiful crown in place. Healthy soft tissue means the bone inside the hard tissue is also healthy. And double checking by X-rays will show you everything is, thank God, in place beautifully and perfectly. Now we can say this is interesting, beautiful, and it's time to shift into implantology if those who are not yet started. We have to go little bit deeper to see what all things are there inside. One of my friends from Mukkam, Kerala, yesterday he called me. He said, in case if you are putting a lot of writings on your slide, I will definitely sleep. So I hope I have put enough photographs and reduced writings so that he will not be able to sleep today night also. This is the most dangerous thing. The cute, beautiful clock you can see on the right. This is a tough time for us because patient is highly aesthetically demanding. She came with a fracture, first premolar. This is not root canal treated. This fracture was just because of this amalgam big restoration. Because this restoration, it will be having a coefficient of thermal expansion different than from the tooth. Every cold, it will shrink. Every hot, it will expand. Either it will break and come away, or it will break the tooth. Here the tooth has broken, and no point in doing another root canal and post because extensive infection is also there, and patient is not willing to undergo all these procedures. The tooth is removed, preserving the buccal plate. This is the main thing we have to be careful. When we remove this tooth, we are no more giving any luxation buccal and palatal or buccal and lingual, because that buccal bone is deciding whether we can do the implant same time or we have to do it later after bone augmentation. It is that important. So we used periotomes and detach all the periodontal ligament, and slowly, very peacefully, with proper patience, removing this tooth. And the extraction socket is without any issues. The implant is in place. Little bone graft material is there inside. That is to block, cover this jumping gap, the gap between the implant and the remaining part of the socket. Again, it is tightened. It was tightened into 30 Newton centimeter. Then I could give the healing cap, healing cover same time. So again, like the second case I have shown you, I don't have to do second stage surgery. So surgery is done in first stage during extraction itself. How predictable it is. Once the healing abutment is removed from the site, you can see the beautiful soft tissue. This is what we want to get in every our cases, but it's a rare thing. It's a very happy scene for any implantologist to see this beautiful, properly developed soft tissue around our implant abutment. Here you can see two crowns I have made for this case, because first I was giving a small one, later that is changed into the perfect, the ideal one, because the first one was little short to avoid the biting force directly coming onto that. That is a during healing period. But before giving this crown, I have given one Essex retainer, because she will not go outside the clinic without something in this place. She don't want this empty space to show. She was a teacher. So she was comfortable with this. I placed this one and she went, and in the night, she remove it and keep it in the water. Morning when she go to the office, she put it and go. That continued for some time. Then she broke this one and came. I have given another one. Then later, she was eagerly waiting 3 months. On the third month, started giving a small one. Then later, that is changed into the ideal, the proper one. Let us see how it is looking in the mouth. You know, again, this is a pink aesthetic. This is a soft tissue. We always concentrate to keep this soft tissue in place by preserving the bone inside. If there is no bone, soft tissue will follow that, and we will be having a long crown, anesthetic crown, which we used to see in some cases. You can see the normal natural tooth gum margin is at this level. Luckily, thank God, this gum margin is towards this occlusal. So after sometimes when we see some recession, I hope this will be settling into this place. To have little more is always better, and we all are happy to see this result in all of our cases, even though that is not a reality in every case. That was our good time. So many beautiful things all around. This was not that beautiful. This is a real tough time. Why I have placed this one to show you here. This is the case if any beginners are about to attend, they should not attend. We know when we are attempting to remove an impacted tooth, when to do, when to refer. So this is a case you have to refer. Definitely you have to refer, or you have to gain additional knowledge before proceeding these kind of cases. This gentleman, around 65 years old, the broken tooth is upper 7. Sometimes we don't do upper 7. Sometimes we do, depends on patient's occlusion. So every time when we remove this molar, we separate the root and remove the root separately without damaging the surrounding bone and the bone in the center. You can see some PRF is prepared and beautiful preparation is collected and kept outside. And the most advanced implantology using osteodensification with this Densabur Versha. It's a new technology to condense all the bone without removing the bone, without extracting bone from the osteotomy site. So here is the bone, and all the teeth are removed, all the roots are removed, and we started drilling this middle portion. Actually, it was pushing this here, this here, this here, and giving a way for the implant placement in the right place. Same time, it was lifting the sinus also. So once the sinus lift is completely done, the PRF membrane was going inside and it was protecting the Schneiderian membrane in that lifted position. So now the implant is inserted inside. You can see the healing abutment is placed. This case, this company, it is called healing cap. No, healing collar. So healing collar is placed, and the remaining area, again, I have placed some bone graft material. Bone grafting was a big issue before, but bone grafting is that simple now. We are getting some synthetic graft material which do not need a membrane coverage above that one. Usually I use those kind of graft material when I am dealing with these kind of situations, because all the epithelialization will be covering that graft material. Maybe some portion from the superficial area will go away, doesn't make any issue. Then everything will be protected inside. And all the jumping gap, what you see here, will be filled with that bone material. Eventually, it will be converted into the bone. Let us see how the radiographs. Here you can see the margin. This is after the Schneiderian membrane lift, sinus lift. If this is not giving us a proper dome shape like this, that means there is some tear. So the graft, whatever we are putting inside, all the PRF, whatever we are pushing inside, will be all over the all over the sinus. So here, after healing, you can see again this area is completely converted into the beautiful bone, and that tough time has finished. Now, all this time I was talking the clinical aspect. Here, some are very interested, very studious. During our college days, we know they are always depending on the textbook. So they are coming and asking, whatever you said is okay. We have seen the cases, but do you have data? Yes, here is the data. A 3-unit FPD, you can read this one. This is totally depending on the abutment tooth. So if that abutment tooth is damaging, our system is failed, our treatment is failed. Whether it will undergo damage or not, you have seen so many cases, and you have seen other cases, or you have seen your experience. When the patient is not able to clean that area under the fixed bridge, very close to the teeth, natural tooth, that is the area it is first decay start, and eventually it fails. Single tooth advantages, if we go through that, single tooth implant advantages, the success rate is more than 97%. And we are not damaging any nearby tooth. So there is no abutment tooth loss issues. And we are literally decreasing the dental caries because there is no atmosphere giving area for the plaque accumulation and eventually converting into dental caries. Everything is self-cleansing. And this is a most important part. Even when we have some root canal treated tooth on right side and left side and empty space in the middle, we don't have to put a crown and make a bridge because everything staying individually is ideal and perfect and natural. So give a crown on that, give another crown here, keep our implant in the center individually. That is natural, and we want maximum to get that beauty of the nature. Scientific literature, so many other, and I'm not going deep into that. Now, this is a famous quote everyone remember. Time and tide wait for no one or no man. There are good time and there are bad time. We don't know. Looking at patient's mouth, this time is good or this time is bad. This clock do not have any handles, so we don't know what time is it. But once when we start with the small cases, when we proceed into the little difficult one, gradually we will start learning when this will be giving little more difficulties, when these are not going to give. Most of the time that will be, we will be able to predict that changes. Here, this is a little difficult case. Analyzing the situation of crown and bridge, as well as this is for those who are doing implant in their day-to-day practice, as well as the beginners. This case, 50+ years old man, no clinical issues, everything is perfect. He has come with some missing teeth. You can see the center, this one is missing. Clinical photograph, you can see canine and lateral, canine and lateral. There is missing 2 central incisors. So how this happened, we don't know. It is removed or it was not there. It is removed, one tooth is removed, then later the other is gone, and all this is migrated mesially, or it was not there, one was not there. We don't know. Only patient remember he has got removed one tooth. So, and there are some other tooth missing on the posterior area. You have seen the previous X-ray. So patient was willing to do implant in the middle, this area, and the rest of the area, crown and bridge is fixed. And I was very happy to finish it in this aesthetic way. The center, it was almost mimicking the natural tooth. And this was, it's a metal ceramic crown. Still, uh, my technician has given, he has done a beautiful job and given a beautiful bridge. So everything is done, and patient has left the clinic. You can see this is a single piece implant. Implant is placed and same time crown is fixed. Single stage implant. And this is the surprise after few years, more than 5 years, patient has come. You can see the crown and bridge I have fixed here. What happened to this one? That started moving, and the dentist he has attended cut that bridge and made it individual, hoping this will survive little more without an issue if the bridge is removed. So that extra force is removed. Then again, this was moving, and patient has referred for implant placement. You can see this area where I have placed my implant 5-6 years ago is still there, and there is no issue with this bone around that, and no issue with this implant. But the crown and bridge area, everything is collapsed. And this is a big story, and ended up this way. 3 implants fixed here, and now patient don't want another crown and bridge. He know how terrible it is, how that is going to damage the remaining tooth. He is predominantly compromised patient. One way, yes, because all this tooth, whatever we have removed, is because of perio, not because of endo. So our future implant also will will go for the same issues. It will be exposed to same issues. Here, I don't think so, because some of his teeth are perfectly predominantly ideal. If it is completely generalized periodontitis or any issues related to systemic problems, it would not be same like the one I have placed my crown and bridge. So here, that force also promoted some bone loss and perio issues, and eventually end up in extraction. Here you can see bilateral sinus lift. Here implant was not done before, and there was no crown and bridge fixed. So I just, what I have done is did the sinus lift here, and 2 placed here, 2 placed here. Here again, no crown and bridge, implant is placed and proceeded to the restoration. Now, everything is ideal. I have told patient, 2 more crown and bridges are there in your mouth. Come at the earliest, change that into the implant. Patient said, yes, I have a plan for that, but I'll be coming later. So patient has gone, he come in between for the prophylaxis, and what happened? This is the crown and bridge I have predicted, which was there on the left side, has come out. It has come out its own. The 2 tooth and the crown has come like that. So now I have to augment the site because there is a lot of bone loss. I have to lift the sinus or augment the site to place my implant. Here again, you can see this part is almost ideal. even though this is not perfect, because there was no force coming in this area. Quality of bone will be compromised, but still this area where the tooth has undergone excess force and bone loss, it has lost lot of bone compared to this area in the middle where nothing was there. Again, this one you can see the other side, the attachment loss, and he is going for the new implant placement after removing all the existing crown and bridges from his mouth. So there is a conclusion. Dental implants are one of the best restorative options when teeth or tooth are missing. And there are so many advantages over our other treatment alternatives. If it is a removable tooth, every bite, if the patient is comfortable, it will never be comfortable. It will be like fixing artificial limb and patient is running. Same way, it is ill-fitting or fitting partially. And every bite, it will be exerting force onto the underlying soft tissue. That force will displace blood circulation in that area for a particular time, maybe milliseconds. When adding up that milliseconds, there are a time anoxia, hypoxia in that area that will be damaging some bone cells and bone resorption will be there. Another thing, these force will be holding on this tooth and that tooth will be moving these both perfectly ideal tooth or teeth in future. So removable partial denture is actually not a replacement for tooth, it's a displacement for the bone. Then the next alternative is for the patient it is comfortable, we fix the fixed one by cutting and spoiling and destroying this and that tooth. So later on, we will have to remove it or we will have to do the endo and we will have to end up in implant. So why not we all start placing implant in the first place? I hope the message is clear to everyone and there are a lot of references and I am winding up this session. Hope everything went well and there was no issues with this uh, upload in Facebook and views in Zoom. Thank you very much. And this is the time for question and answer. Dr.
Thank you.
Sham,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
welcome, Sham.
So we have our first question. That's from Dr. Bibin Sharma.
Yes.
Can you read it?
Yes, please.
Which implant is good to place as a beginner? Company and implant size for anteriors and posteriors.
Thank you, Dr. Bibin, for asking me this question. Actually, I am not very much aware about which location you are coming from and which implant is familiar and more giving good service in your area. But I can suggest you one easy method I used to suggest to my students.
Sir,
We can
sir, he's from UP.
UP.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not familiar much about that area, unfortunately. Anyway, what we normally suggest from your area, you can type which is most, which is the best top 10 implants in the market. So there will be some implants coming and from that you choose which one is giving good after sale service and after sale support and which is more comfortable for your patients. Anyway, always go for a branded one, never copy one or cheap alternative because if it is a beginner. If we made small mistake here and there, if it is branded one, that systems will excuse us. It will hold in place without much issues. So always go with the branded one, and that will be really helpful. Thank you. I hope I answered this question.
Yes, sir. And coming to the second one, and it was asked by Dr. Humera, which is best bone graft for a beginner?
Thank you, Dr. Humira, for this question. Again, I don't know which bone grafts are available in your country and you are from which part, because some bone graft materials are not available in some countries because of some issues with the CE clearance certification, or some issues with the some area, some bone graft are not allowed. So which is easily available in your area, you have to find out that. The other thing, if everything is available in your area, if it is to preserve the socket, what easy method is, I suggest some synthetic graft material which do not require any membrane to use. For example, I'm not a promoter for any particular implant or any promoter for any particular brand of uh, bone graft. But one easy one, which I have seen I use in my practice, especially when it is socket shield, when the tooth is removed and if patient is left for some time for the implant, then I don't leave it like that. I put some bone graft material. I use normally Easy Graft Crystal, because it's very easily we can mix it and it's coming in a syringe. And after extracting the liquid from that, I can just push into the extraction socket. So it will be spread inside. I don't need a membrane. But if it is not there, then what you can do, you can search which one is available and you can use. Always gold standard is our normal natural bone, our own bone, autogenous bone.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving to the next one, and asked by Dr. Jessil. He was our past CD convener, I mean last year. And he asked which implant system you follows or recommend.
Welcome, Dr. Jessel. Last week, there was a webinar in Dentist Channel Online. If you get time, if you can just search that one, you can see my NAN implant systems, different NAN implant systems I have shown in that one. That webinar was only to compare these implant systems, which is good, which is not good in that case or this case. So it was comparing all these NAN implant. Actually, it is not NAN, it was 10. So NAN was exclusive in my practice, and one I have placed, but not much. So including that 10 implant, I was comparing. So if you have time, please watch Dentist Channel Online. Dentist Channel .online. If you watch that one, you can get this very detailed 2 hours webinar from that one. Thank you.
Okay, sir. And next question is from Dr. Praveen Kumar. Is there any ideal case selection criteria and start for a beginner?
Yes, definitely. Is it from Dr. Praveen?
Dr. Praveen Kumar.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Praveen Kumar. Yes, definitely. Because whenever we suggest to place implant, I suggest people to place implant in maxillary premolar area. If it is a completely, totally fresh beginning, definitely having a mentor is a blessing. You should have a mentor, because anytime you can take your patient from your practice and go there and finish the job if something goes wrong. It's not like root canal fail, because when the patient is coming for root canal, he's already having a pain, and we are trying to solve that pain. So if the root canal fail, we can tell them, excuse me, this is a mistake, so I have to remove it. But implant is not like that. Most of the time, patients are coming without any symptoms or any issues. So we are starting something and we are creating some issues there means there is no room for excuse. So having a mentor is a good thing. Always try to do some course in your area which is easily available, or do some online course and try to start with a mentor. That is one thing. Other thing, if you are doing implant otherwise with your all other experience, for example, if you are an oral surgeon, you have plenty of experience in surgical aspect, then you don't have to go for another course, or you don't have to be get a mentor or something like that. What you can do, start with a mentor and start doing implant and start
Sorry for the inconvenience. There is some network problems. Please wait for 2 minutes.
Sir.
Good evening, all the participants. I'm Dr. Sanal, IDA Airnad Branch Secretary. I think our Dr. Shaukat Ali lost the connection, I think. So anyway, it was a wonderful webinar on topic dental implantology, and he has simplified it very well. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants, those who made this program a big success. On behalf of IDA Airnad Branch, I really appreciate and thankful to Dr. Shaukat Ali for being our faculty. Special thanks to Dr. Mohsin, Dr. Shyam, Dr. Jasil for the support. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Sanal.
Just upload.